Fire breathing is literally dangerous to the point that if you did it in the emergency room and fucked it up the right way, you're still dead. Like, there's no point. If you inhale at the wrong time, you can cauterize your lungs, you can cauterize your throat. If you swallow too much of the fuel, you can poison yourself. I mean, if the wind changes and you end up inside of your fireball, you can burn your whole face. I mean, it's dangerous. It's extremely dangerous.
My name is Csikszentmihalyi. I've been spinning poi for a little over 5 years now, I believe, maybe 6. I do some other props too. I do staff and I do fire breathing, but predominantly I'm a poi spinner.
My name's Capri. I'm a call, and I've been doing fire performing for 4 or 5 years.
My name is TJ. We are third-degree burners, and it is a very small, very local fire troop that is just now getting started, really.
The positive psychologist Csikszentmihalyi interviewed many socially recognized creative people, from artists to rock climbers, and what he wanted to know was why were they doing it, and what he found was what he would later name the flow state. In his book Creativity, Flow and the Psychology of Discovery and Invention, Csikszentmihalyi says, "It was clear from talking to them that what kept them motivated was the quality of experience they felt while they were involved with the activity. The feeling didn't come when they were relaxing, when they were taking drugs or alcohol, or when they were consuming the expensive privileges of wealth. Rather, it often involved risky, painful, difficult activities that stretched the person's capacity and involved an element of novelty and discovery. This optimal experience is what I have called flow."
I do occasionally reach a state that I would consider the flow state, where I am in the groove, and it's really the ultimate goal. Not thinking about what move you're going to do next, not thinking about transitions, just letting your prop completely be an extension of yourself and going with it, letting it move you rather than moving it.
Yeah, plenty of times I've felt like you're just like, everything you're doing is right, you're super concentrated, everything is just, I don't know, it's just going together.
In the flow state, my action and awareness are merged, but oddly enough, although I guess I am super aware, I don't really realize it because of just being in that flow state and being moved by my prop rather than thinking about it.
Focus is almost 100% on what's going on right then and there. Like, your awareness is completely on the fire.
There's absolutely a balance between challenge and skill getting into the flow state. I did not immediately get into the flow state as soon as I started doing this. It took some learning the transitions, learning the moves, and ingraining it in my muscle memory before I was able to really tap into that rhythm that enables the flow state.
I think it's both. I mean, but you have to work hard in order to achieve it. I mean, because if you only know like 2 moves, how much flow can you achieve?
My self-consciousness disappears, as well as the environment. Really, you become completely one with what you're doing. No thought, no distractions, and
I wouldn't say I always know what needs to be done next. I always try and plan routines, especially for real performances, and I find that either I do things completely opposite of what I had planned, or forget things mid-performance that I knew how to do, or find out things that I never thought I knew how to do, and it definitely never goes according to plan. Like, I definitely never have a next step in mind. It just kind of goes.
It feels very innate when in the flow state. I don't really know what's coming next, and that's the beauty of it. It's also a blissful state where you just kind of, it's a rhythm. It's a complete rhythm, and you become part of that rhythm. My sense of time absolutely gets distorted in a flow state. What could only last for 2 minutes could feel much longer or much shorter. You pretty much completely shut out time as irrelevant when you're in the flow state. I do feel like I get immediate feedback from both my prop, my own body, and the crowd. Every action has a reaction, and I think that applies doubly when you're in a flow state or aiming to get into a flow state. It's again coming back to the rhythm. You got to work with the resistance to really get into it. When in the flow state, I'm not worried about failing because that thought is nowhere close to what is going on in my mind at the time. It's so unconscious to an extent to be in that rhythm that failures, not only is it not an option, it's just not really in the realm of possibility when you're in that state. Absolutely, when in the flow state, it's all about just being in the moment. I do experience challenges finding that flow state. It does not happen every time. That probably is an ultimate goal for it to happen every time. Things just have to be right. My own energy level has to be right, the energy of the audience has to be correct, but when those factors meet and they meet perfectly, then it is the flow state and it's a blissful state.
I feel like sometimes, more so with fire eating, the dangers kind of distract you away from getting in a flow state.
I worry about things more when I perform, especially as a breather. Like, I have to take things into account, like wind and stuff, more than I would as a personal safety measure. When I'm alone or with other people that I know already, I'll push myself way farther in way worse conditions. But in a performance setting, I definitely consider things a lot more. So my personal safety is definitely what changes in the performance for me. Like, not wanting to hurt myself in front of people and affect those people.
Absolutely. With fire breathing in particular, it's the most dangerous of the fire arts. You can really mess up. I would say with fire breathing, I'm a little more conscious of what I'm doing. There's still a rhythm to it, definitely, but you have to be conscious of things, wiping the fuel off your face, not inhaling after you breathe in case the mist blows back. It's not quite as involuntary as the thought process to getting in a flow state with something like pulley or staff or something along those lines. The fulfillment of being in the flow state really outweighs any risks involved. There are, of course, risks. You're playing with fire, but in the end, it's so much more than play. It's an art form, and you are the art form. And the fire is an extension of yourself, and it's just beautiful, and the danger is completely worth it.
The danger in the fire breathing is definitely the inspiration, more so than the danger with any other kind of performance for me.
During the times that I performed and entered what I perceive as the flow state, there are no boundaries between body, mind, and environment. The barriers are torn down, and through movement and rhythm, a bridge is built to enable me to cross into what I would almost call a spiritual experience, a state void of conscious thought and inhibitions, where sync and harmony become tangible entities well within my grasp. To me, that is the flow state, the bliss state, and I aim to be placed in that realm of being as often as possible in my everyday life. To exist in the flow state is to simultaneously be open as well as whole. One can shift the paradigm and be permanently uplifted in that perfect paradox.